Over and over again. That's the game plan. Control Allen Iverson. He has the ball in his hands a majority of the time. He's the point guard and he's the second leading scorer in the league. It's pretty obvious there.
Well, he's only had 50-plus 6 times in his career. Hopefully tonight is not 7. Korver's a guy who, in a way, had a coming-out party in Philadelphia against the Spurs, and since then he's become a mainstay in the lineup and one of the top 3-point shooters in the league.
I'm telling you, he's had several coming-out parties. This guy is a clutch shooter, and he gets rid of it in a hurry.
Defensive 3 seconds.
Let's take a look at our Lincoln Mercury key matchup tonight, and again, concerns Allen Iverson.
And you see AI with 24 last time the teams met, and I'm not so concerned about what Tony Parker scores tonight. I want to see him run the ball club, control the team, control the tempo of the game.
Defensive 3 seconds to call, and Manu Ginobili hits the free throw, and the Spurs are on the board 3-1. Now, Iverson in that game in Philadelphia was only to the free throw line 9 times. That's certainly a key because he is not a great shooter, but he's a tremendous free thrower.
And he likes to throw his body in there and mix it up.
Korver with Bowen on him. And back out front from Davis to Jackson. Iverson, second in the league in scoring, 4th in assist at 8.2. Dumps one off here. They can't finish, and Ginobili brings it up after the miss by Josh Davis, a second-year player out of Wyoming.
He just didn't have the athletic ability to get that ball off over Tim Duncan.
Manu draws the foul. Iguodala.
Manu just using his experience to get Iguodala up in the air, get him off of his feet. Iguodala, an Arizona graduate, I might add.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
I thought we'd get that there somewhere tonight. We find time to fit that in. Where'd you go to school, by the way?
Yeah, you know where I went to school.
Okay.
I went to Arizona.
Bear down.
But you know, those young athletic guys, even though they go to world-class programs, they don't always keep their feet when they should.
Iguodala did not that time. So with 10:54 to go, first quarter, it is 3-2 Sixers on the Korver long shot. Davis with Duncan on him. Back to Iverson. 9 on the shot clock.
Oh my!
Rebound to Tim Duncan.
That's what you want to do with Allen Iverson. Don't allow him to get it in the lane and create havoc for your defense. Make him sit out there and shoot jump shots all night long.
Tony on the penetration to Tim for the baseline jumper. First field goal of the night for the Spurs, and Tim Duncan scores it. Tim averaging 23 a game, 10th in the league, and last night had 20 points, 13 boards in the 18-point win in Dallas. Jackson with a miss, Rasho with a retrieve, and here's Tony. 76ers should be fresh. They played Saturday night in Orlando and stayed down there until flying to San Antonio yesterday. Bruce with a miss. Rebound comes off to Iguodala.
But I like the way Tony Parker has continued to put pressure on that defense, driving down the heart of the lane and finding perimeter shooters. Last time he had Manu Ginobili, this time he hits Bruce Bowen.
Iguodala. And got it up and under there with Rasho provides some interference, and it's 5-4 now in favor of Philadelphia. Andre averages 8.6 boards a game in his first season in the league. He's coming off a 15-point performance in the loss to Orlando.
Tim Duncan a second ago left wide open along the baseline. Mark Jackson there guarding him. Iguodala there. Looks like they're in a little bit of a zone, and that's what I don't like, again, about zone defenses in this league. Players get lazy.
Another defensive 3 seconds and another free throw for Manu Ginobili. Manu gets this one to tie the game at 5, and the Spurs will substitute as Tony Massenberg will come in for Rasho Nesterovic. 9:30 to go in the quarter.
Well, that's an interesting substitution there. That tells you that Pop is unhappy with something that Rasho's doing, or maybe Rasho's not feeling very well today, because how often do you see Rasho go out after 2.5 minutes have elapsed and Tony Massenberg come for him?
Yeah, and it's not a foul situation. Ginobili driving, got rocked, and again will go back to the free throw line. The foul is on Iguodala. That is his second.
Manu's so explosive, moving along the baseline. He gets punished when he's throwing his body in the lane, but he's so good at selling fouls. A lot of guys get hit, and they don't really cry and scream out. Sometimes you hear guys that try to sell it too much. You're crying and yelling, and you're calling the paramedics. But Manu will throw his arms up, he'll twist his body around in the air, and he gets himself to the free throw line.
Spurs with the lead, 6-5. Salmons comes in to replace Iguodala. Tim Duncan with the block of Iverson, but he saves to Korver. Salmons and now Davis. And back to Jackson with Massenberg on him. Manu comes to double and nearly tore it away. Foul is called, and Tim Duncan among the league leaders in blocks, and here's evidence.
Well, this is a spectacular move here by Allen Iverson, and he tries to throw a pretty reverse layup, but no way. Tim Duncan there to close down the door. I mean, he's just too long, too much timing, too much athletic ability to try to get that shot up.
Sean, I'd like to get your thoughts on the Sixers. They're 6-7. Last year they go 33-49. Randy Ayers got fired. Chris Ford finished out. Jim O'Brien's in. Young team. They got a multimillionaire somewhere by the name of Big Dog, who suddenly said become a dog, doesn't want to play there.
Right.
Do you like the way this Sixer franchise is headed?
Oh, not right now. I mean, they're in a rebuilding process. Allen Iverson takes up an awful lot of cap room on this ball club. They're going to have to find guys somehow who can complement him.
Parker on the penetration to Bowen.
And they may have that, Bill, but it's going to take a long time for some of the younger stars to develop. Andre Iguodala, they have high hopes for him. Kyle Korver, another young guy who can shoot the ball. Salmons and Samuel Dallenberg, wherever he is right now.
On the drive and the foul, and get used to that as Iverson will sacrifice the body. Iverson in his 9th year.
This is what we talk about with Allen Iverson, one of the fiercest competitors in this league, and he's going to go in there at 160 pounds and throw his body around.
3-time scoring champ to the line and drains this one, averaging 26 and a half a game. He is 2nd in the league in scoring, 4th in assists, and he is 6th in steals. Last year, the body finally took its toll. He missed 34 games.
Well, it's going to. And you're playing so many minutes, it's going to catch up with you eventually.
What a pass, and Parker from Ginobili with the 2.
That's just Allen Iverson falling asleep on the defensive end.
The other way, it's muscled up and in, this time by Mark Jackson. He's their leading rebounder at 6 a game and averages 14 points to go with it. Coach Popovich would like a timeout and gets it here with 8:10 to go in the first. Philadelphia with a 9-8 lead. Want to remind you, John Radigan and Dana Larson come to you immediately after the game. Busch Light Southwest Sports Report. Lot to talk about. Bob Stoops and the Sooners gearing up for the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game with Colorado, and Cowboys prep and more, all coming on the Busch Light Southwest Sports Report. Here it's Bill Land, Sean Elliott, Ryan Anderson. Sixers with a 9-8 lead. 7:50 to go first quarter at the SBC. Down low, and a nice feed from Josh Davis. And
Bruce Bowl was there for the weak side help, but he can't get around Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson's just too big. It's like going around a house.
Duncan takes it from Ginobili. Manu cuts with 13 on the shot clock. Iverson comes to help. Tim got poked. And a foul is called on Iverson.
And you know what? I have to side with Allen Iverson here. Even if you get poked in the eye, you've got to continue to play. You can't put the onus on the ref to make that call.
Now, Allen goes over to make sure his Olympic teammate, Allen was a co-captain on the Olympic team in Athens.
I see Allen Iverson.
Oh, and it wasn't him.
Yeah.
That's what he's really complaining about.
That was Mark Jackson sneaking in there behind him.
Big camera work to catch that one. Parker sees that okay, and the Spurs come right back.
Yeah, he didn't need 20/20 vision to knock in a 2-footer. Great penetration there by Tony Parker.
Jackson gives to Davis. The long 2, no. Bowen. Rather Massenberg. Here's Tony.
I really wonder why Samuel Dallenberg isn't in the ball game. With his size and his athletic ability to guard Tim Duncan, I wonder if they want to use Josh Davis to try to pull Tim Duncan out of the lane.
Massenberg's miss sets up the other way for Iverson. He somehow dishes it off, and Jackson draws the foul. All right, we earlier were showing you the break where the Spurs got loose and Manu hit Tony Parker. Sean, to tell us.
Well, you watch Tony Parker right when he cuts down the lane. You freeze it right there. Look at it, Allen Iverson. He's lost track of the ball, and he barely sees his man. He looks like he's just looking over in the corner. Just out of position defensively, and a little bit of lack of effort. If you're the leader of the ball club, you've got to lead by example, and that means both ends of the floor, not just shooting the basketball every time.
Yeah, and there's no question that he is the leader of this team at this point. First pick in '96 out of Georgetown. Here's Jackson. Hits the free throw. Mark a 76% shooter. His fifth year. He's from Temple there in Philadelphia. And score is now 13-10. Tim Duncan. 8 on the shot clock. Hands to Ginobili. Manu flying to the basket and draws the foul. Spurs, a 107-89 winner last night, where Devin Brown and Beno Udrih were a couple of the heroes, as they each had 16 coming off the bench. The Spurs with 5 players in double figures.
Manu's already gone to the line 7 times here in the first quarter. It isn't even the halfway point of this quarter.
Once again, his aggressiveness, and he's 5 of 7 from the line. Bruce Bowen gets a breather. As we mentioned, Devin Brown, he gets a little bit earlier call than usual after his back-to-back big scoring nights. Remember Utah here over the weekend, and Devin in that one had 14. Followed it with 16 against the Mavericks. Tripping call.
I mean, Allen Iverson looked like he was in a car wreck when he hit the ground. Just flying through the lane, got tripped up a little bit. And you see him go to the ground, you just get worried for him.
Massenberg's second foul. 10 on the shot clock. Davis lets it go. No. Rebound to Duncan. Davis is a 50% three-point shooter, so it's not unusual for the 6'8", 240-pounder to be at the arc.
Well, I'm sure that's why they have him in the ball game, to try to drag Tim Duncan out of the lane area.
And Tim powers to the basket, but the call goes against the Spurs. And it'll be the charge on Tim. Brent Berry's going to check in.
Looked like a good call. About 6-8 feet away. That's a little chip shot for him. Instead, he continues to go forward, and Davis does a nice job sacrificing his body.
Spurs lineup now with Massenberg, Berry, and Brown, along with the 2 starters, Parker and Duncan. On the drive, Korver, no. The tip is good.
That's what Mark Jackson does. That's what he's good at. That's what he's on the floor for. He's not out there to try to score a lot of points. He's there to get extra possessions on the offensive glass and get some tip-ins.
Much better start for the Sixers, who in the 88-80 win the Spurs had in Philly just a short time ago, they missed their first 16 shots. Parker with a miss here. Massenberg out hustles Korver. Korver into row 1. Berry gives to Duncan. Looks back to Tony. And a foul underneath.
You know, Tim was begging for that ball away from Brent Berry, and then he tries to dump it down low to Tony Massenberg. I'd like to see those guys run a little bit of pick and roll, especially with Brent Berry, because he's such an excellent passer. If you set a screen for him, you're going to be wide open. He's going to get you the basketball.
Massenberg goes to the free throw line and hits this one. Tony averaging 1.6 a game, his 13th year out of Maryland.
Excuse me.
And Tony, one of those strong guys, is going to go in there, grab a bunch of rebounds. He's going to block shots. He's had some ferocious blocks this year.
It's one to make it 15-12. Salmons back out. Davis. Jackson posting up low. The jump hook. No. Massenberg kept it alive for Tim Duncan to claim it. Now Devin Brown trying to get control to Berry.
Yeah, Mark Jackson's best shot on that was trying to throw that ball off the glass and go get the offensive rebound.
Tim against the double team, looking for help. Parker, and out of bounds. It'll go to Philadelphia.
Tony Massenberg was wide open underneath the bucket. Tim Duncan couldn't get him the ball, though, because of the tremendous double team by the Sixers. And that shows you watch Tim Duncan here, and watch Tony Massenberg. He's going to cut right to the middle lane. He's wide open. But this is how you run a double team. You come with arms up. Look at the hands by the 76ers. That's an aggressive double team, and that saves them 2 points.
Iverson on the drive, and a foul, and an and one.
And you see the focus and concentration by Allen Iverson. And when he hears the whistle and Tony Parker falls off of him, he's just the picture of concentration. He wants to make sure that he's going to the line for three. There's the whistle there. He just focuses on what he needs to do. He's only 2 or 3 feet away, and he doesn't just toss it up there lightly. He's trying to make the shot, obviously.
Tim Duncan gets a breather, and same for Tony Parker as Benoudra comes in. Malik Rose is in, along with Nesterovic, Devin Brown, and Barry. Parker with his second foul.
Could this be one of those bench nights again?
It may need to be.
It may need to be. A back-to-back game. You played a lot of games here in the last week. Your bench has got to keep you fresh. They've got to keep you sharp. They've done a fantastic job all year long, and here they are coming off the bench when the starters have them in a 5-point deficit.
Barry shovels, intercepted. Iverson bringing it against Rasho. Oh, my. What a shot by Allen Iverson. He comes up with a different way to get it done every time.
And you know why he gets that shot off is because he hides the ball from Rasho Nesterovic.
Devin Brown showing aggression, going to the basket, and he'll be rewarded with a free throw or two. Let's take a look at Iverson again.
Now watch this. First off, he comes up with the steal, and then he pulls a rabbit right out of his hat because he hides his ball from Rasho Nesterovic, and then at the last minute, it's out. You did a great job of shielding Rasho with his body.
And that's why, if you just look at the stats and you go, that guy's shooting 39%. He shoots too much. Well, no. When this guy gets it going, and he is such a competitor, and when he gets to the free throw line, that's the other part that people forget, that he's such a deadly force there, and then you get in foul trouble like Parker picking up 2 here in the first quarter.
Oh, yeah. He's just going to put some pressure on your backcourt. There's no question about it.
19-14. Malik with a big-time rebound. Here's Devin again. Nesterovic to Barry. Sixers pawing away defensively, 10 on the shot clock. Devin Brown with Korver at his face, just rattled out. D'Alembert comes down with a rebound.
Not a lot of room to operate there with a 2-man game, Bill, because Devin Brown should be able to take Kyle Korver off the dribble, but he just didn't have the space to work with.
Now, Korver's 6'7", 210. You try to shoot jumpers, he's going to be in your face, and he counters with a bucket of his own.
And he's a great shooter. The Ashton Kutcher lookalike.
Korver averaging 13 points a game. He's got 5 tonight. Second year out of Creighton, and the league's 7th best three-point shooter. Brown drops it off for Rose. Rasho got it to go. And Nesterovic averaging 7 points, 6 boards a game. Makes it 21-16.
Excellent passing once again by the Spurs bench.
Iverson, the hanger.
Beno's got to be awfully careful because to me that looked like a foul and 1 for Allen Iverson.
Iverson 3 of 6 from the floors and 2 of 3 from the line for his 8 points, and the Sixers with a 7-point lead, their largest of the night. Benoudra.
Now if you're Allen Iverson, you have Benoudra on you, you're a 3-time scoring champion.
Devin Brown shooting it with some confidence.
And why shouldn't he? After the way he played last night, he's earned some quality minutes here.
His 3-ball gives him 5 tonight. Spurs back within 4. D'Alembert hands off to Iverson. Iverson, headed strip, somehow maintained control, out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Sixers.
Benoudra doing a nice, it was all-state. He was an all-state safety or cornerback. You can imagine if you're a quarterback throwing that ball downfield, you think you have a receiver open, all of a sudden it's going the other way.
Korver with his shot clock winding down, and that would have counted. Just missing, firing in an off-balance 3 going into the bench. Here is Malik, strong to the hole, the blocking foul on Korver. And Malik Rose will go to the line. Both teams being aggressive.
Malik Rose forcing the action here. Fortunately, gets a blocking call, rather, But you see Korver stepping in, and over in the left corner, wide open is Devin Brown.
Rose averaging 5.8 a game, 4.4 boards, and 81% from the free throw line. Malik, he had a season-high 16 in the blowout of Utah here on Saturday night, and then followed up with 5 in the win against Dallas last night.
He's been playing great basketball, that's for sure. He's a lot more comfortable out there on the floor. He has a feeling when he's going to come in the ball game, he's in a little bit of a groove right now.
More in the rotation. You know he's going to get his minutes and how long.
Exactly.
Here is Salmons, pulls up with the jumper over Berry and makes a sweet-looking shot. John averages 7.5 a game. He just had 2 the first go-round of these 2.
He just froze Brent with that little crossover, allowed him to get his shot off.
25-21, Spurs down 4. Malik misjudged on the window, loose one. Out of bounds, Spurs ball, 8 on the shot clock.
Ball got away from him a little bit.
Devin Brown to inbounds.
Close that window up.
Here's Beno Udrih, who, by the way, is 6th in the league in three-point shooting. This time winds his way to the hole and somehow gets it in amongst the trees.
That was a heck of a play. Whew. Keep that ball away from the defenders. Kind of split a trap there and used his body to shield the defender, and he got his shot off. Can't teach that.
Salmons kicks to Corliss Williamson, and a foul is called. It'll be a charge against the 76ers, John Salmons.
You watch this move here by Beno Udrih. These are the type of moves here where you split this trap, and then he uses his body to keep that Willie Green, the defender, away from the shot. You can't teach those types of moves there, Bill. Those come from playing hours and hours and hours of basketball.
Spurs turn it over, and that is the 5th turnover. Philly with just 1, I believe. Yeah, 1 turnover in that last play. Corliss Williamson out of Arkansas, and he loses it. Devin Brown, 16 seconds to go in the quarter. Spurs will take 1. 10 seconds as Beno Udrih brings it back out. Got it! With 2 seconds to go in the quarter, Beno strikes. Aaron McKee, and that's the end of the first quarter.
I tell you what, this kid is getting more.
That's coming up at the half. Right now, let's go back.
And only in theaters. Welcome back to the SBC Center. Apologize, you missed a Spurs leading bucket. Devin Brown raced into the basket to start the second quarter, and the Spurs are up 27-25.
He just stepped right around Samuel Dallenberg in the open court. Classic little guy against a big man. And a little guy in the open court with a full head of steam is going to win that battle almost every time.
You mentioned bench. Well, the bench. Beno and Devin Brown and company, 14 of the Spurs' 27, Sean.
Well, I thought at the beginning of this year that this was going to be a huge year for Devin Brown, especially the way that this guy played last year near the end of the year. He was a vital part of this team, and his confidence is continuing to skyrocket.
7th lead change of the night. Malik with a miss. Williamson with a retrieval. Gives it off to Green. Willie Green, 6'4", 200 out of Detroit Mercy. This one won't go. The rebound to Beno, bringing it quickly. Devin Brown. And now Manu Ginobili. Manu splits the defenders, dishes it off. Brown. Yeah, counting in. That's a deuce.
And look at
Devin
Manu.
Brown got it going.
Yes, he does, and it's really in large part due to his teammates finding him when he's wide open. That was a beautiful penetration by Manu Ginobili, went right down the defense.
The stuff attempt by Dallenberg won't go. Out to Green. Nice move by Green to corral the jumper. He's coming off a 12-point game in the win against Orlando and averages 8.5. Averaged just under 7 in his first year with the Sixers last year. Now that drive by Ginobili, talking about football references as the Spurs come back to Devin Brown from the other side. Oh my! pick a spot, any spot.
Well, I hope it's clicking with his teammates now. Who's the hot man on the floor? You got to try however you can to find Devin Brown in the open court or in the half-court set because he's got it going.
Corliss Williamson powers his way to the basket. He averages 9.5. Corliss in his 10th year, now 30 years old. First round pick in 95 of Sacramento. Foul called out front. Let's go to third man in our crew, Brian Anderson.
Well, Bill, after last night's win against Dallas, Pop quick to point out not only the performance of the bench, but specifically the performance of Devin Brown, a season-high 16 last night. Of course, the bench has been the story, and what a luxury it is, guys, to have a bench who can give you this kind of production, especially on a back-to-back night. Talking to a couple of scouts before the game, they said, you guys already have enough weapons. You're not supposed to have a great bench. Certainly the Spurs do.
Beno Udrih with a drive to the bucket on a nice pass feeding to him. And the Spurs just quickly are up 34-29.
And you know, you talk about the talent on the bench, but these guys know how to play, and that's the key. They're making extra passes. If you're wide open, you get the basketball. That's what the game is all about.
Beno with a half dozen. Williamson with a hook the other way to make it 34-31. Corliss Williamson, part of the champions last year with Detroit, where he averaged 9.5 a game. Jim O'Brien likes the mix of the youngsters with some of the veterans. He's also got Brian Skinner, Kenny Thomas, who had been starting as well to bring off the bench. And of course, Aaron McKee. Here's Malik Rose trying to get a call, and it goes out of bounds is the call. It'll be Spurs basketball.
That's tough there for Malik because normally when you post a guy up, you have a decided advantage on him. The big nasty Corliss Williamson, he's probably got 10 pounds on Malik. And he's strong, and he didn't get the nickname Big Nasty because he's a nice guy in the paint.
The Spurs, the shot clock expires as Beno was trying to get it to Rasho Nesterovic, and a player down for the Sixers.
That's Williamson, and he got his leg rolled on. And that didn't look pretty at all. He's probably more shaken up than anything, just scared. And you have somebody, one of your teammates underneath you, and he's rolling up and down the corner. And this one just happens to roll to Devin, and there he is in the right place at the right time with the hot hand knocking down another big three.
So you see what Devin and Beno have come up with, just like last night when those two were killers, particularly in the fourth quarter. The Spurs had 38-point fourth quarter, their best of the year, to take care of Dallas. And with a call against the Sixers, let's go back to Brian Anderson with more on Williamson.
Corliss Williamson, Bill, is headed back to the Sixers locker room. During that timeout, they were checking the stability of his left knee. Of course, he rolled at that last possession. No official word yet, but he is back in the locker room and pass on the word as soon as we get to it.
Thank you, Brian. Tim Duncan back in the lineup, back in the scoring column, and the Spurs lead it by a nickel, 36-31.
And I like this combination that Pop has on the floor right now. He's going to leave Devin Brown and Beno Udrih out there. Your spark plugs here in the second quarter, and you bring Tim Duncan and Rasho Nesterovic back with Manu Ginobili. Just pick your poison time. You throw it inside to Tim, and you have those three guys on the outside that are ready to drain it.
Manu picks up his second foul. Salmons has it. Remember, Parker got too early. What productivity when your guard comes in to replace him and plays the way Beno has. Rebound to Nesterovic. Udrih to Ginobili. Back to Tim Duncan.
Is that beautiful to watch or what? And it all starts because Beno gets rid of the basketball in the backcourt. He doesn't try to be a hero and dribble the ball all the way up the floor. He gets it to the man who's open ahead of him.
Korver with the miss. Rebound. Jackson battling for it out of bounds. Spurs ball as Ginobili. Enough interference to help.
You watch this. When Rasho Nesterovic gets the basketball, Beno puts it on the floor one time. That's all that's necessary. Manu puts it on the floor once, and there you have it. A fast break with 2 dribbles total.
Ginobili fighting for this one. Yeah, good lesson for kids so many times, not realizing that, hey, if you got a ball handler ahead of you, give it up.
Kids, how about other NBA point guards?
Duncan on the drive. I tried to be kind.
I mean, for the life of me, I can't figure out how guys can't figure that out. You've got to move the ball up the court. Beno did a fantastic job. He got the ball, gives it up to Manu ahead of him, and Manu takes one dribble, gives it up to Tim, who's wide open. That's how you beat people in transition.
Foul is on Korver. Yeah, that's something that Brent Barry's really added to this team, is making the very simple pass and making it right away instead of a dribble.
Exactly right.
Tim Duncan to the free throw line with his work tonight. While we've been drooling over Beno and Devin, Tim has very quietly got 9 points.
Look how many passes you have in this. Beno to Manu Ginobili, beautiful no-look pass. And another great passer, Tim Duncan, who is going to finish that point.
Jackson comes out. Davis returns for the Sixers. Jackson leaving with 8 points and a couple of rebounds. Free throw wise, look what the Spurs have done as far as being the aggressor. They come in on the year at 71.5%. Duncan hits them both, and the Spurs have their largest lead.
They're just going to continue to wear this 76ers team down. You look at the 76ers, not nearly the depth.
Tim lost it to Beno Udrih. Kicks it off, Devin Brown. And hit this one. Beno trying to get the assist there. Devin Brown been red hot. 4 of 6 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3.
But that shows you right there that Beno understands who has the hot hand. He's trying to get it to Devin Brown any way he can.
Delaware with a miss. Devin Brown bringing it. Kicks it off to Ginobili. Rasho won't go. Rebound quickly, the Sixers the other way.
And that's Rasho's shot. That's what you want him to do. Come down, trail the break. You're going to get a wide open look at the free throw line.
Iguodala's rebound sets the Sixers up, and Iverson gets fouled on his way to the basket. Parker and Bowen check back in. Manu Ginobili and Beno Udrih get a nice round of applause as they head out.
Both these guys have done a nice job tonight with the court awareness. Finding their teammates, finding the people who have the hot hands, making tremendous passes, knocking down timely shots.
Spurs steal. Devin Brown. Tim with the follow.
And you would figure that Josh Davis at 6'8" is going to be able to outrun Tim Duncan at 6'11", 7 feet tall. But Tim and Rasho both were all over that offensive rebound.
Timeout, Philadelphia. The Spurs are a double-digit leader now, up by 11 on an 8-0 run.
Devin Brown here making things happen. No one steps up to stop him. He steps right around the defense. But there's Tim Duncan to clean up the mess. Here's Tim right there at the back of your screen. But he comes up big. Davis is back, but Tim Duncan outruns Dallenberg and the small forward there looks like Iguodala.
We mentioned the Sixers coming in 6-7. They're in the midst of a 5-game road trip, and they sit a game behind the Knicks, who are 7-6. And then, of course, Toronto, Boston, and New Jersey. They didn't make the playoffs last year for the first time since 97-98.
That division doesn't look strong at all. 7-6 you're leading that division, the Atlantic.
Iverson with 8 on the shot clock. Tim Duncan with a rebound. Iverson in the first meeting was 8 of 24 from the floor against the Spurs. Ended up with 24 points, but he earned it. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Tim off the window, and the Spurs roll continues. 10 straight now, and the Spurs with a 13-point lead. Hey, remember, this Philadelphia team came in here last year and stopped the Spurs' 13-game winning streak. There's some getting even to count up for. Davis finally breaks the Spurs run.
That's what he's out there for. Step outside, lure the big man outside, knock down the 3-ball.
Spurs outscoring the Sixers 19-9 here in the second period after tying it at 25. The final moments of the first quarter. Brown, good rotation to Parker. Bowen. Tim Duncan with 4, knocked away. Devin Brown like to fire, he does. Didn't get any in the rim, and the shot clock expires.
That's overpassing there. I know. He felt like he got hit, but Devin Brown's got to take that shot at the top of the key. He has the...
Michael Moore in a heavyweight slugfest, live on the Best Damn Sports Show, period.
I'd like to hear you say that last name 10 times quickly.
No, thank you. Just read it as it's written for me. Thank you. Iverson gives to D'Alembert. Samuel with a miss. And Tim Duncan there for the rebound.
I've just figured out why Samuel D'Alembert isn't playing. Because he's out there shooting jump shots, but that's not his game. What's he doing?
More of a defender shot blocker, isn't he?
Yeah, when I've seen him play, he's a guy who's run the floor. I thought he was the future at center for the 76ers when I've seen him play these last couple years.
Duncan with the miss. Rasho with the rebound. Spurs reset wide open to Starovich. Can't hit the 13-footer. And here comes Iverson quickly. Out to Davis. Looks low. D'Alembert is 0 of 4 from the floor. The Sixers tonight are 42%. Here's Davis. Tries to feed D'Alembert, and they turn it over.
You see what happens when you have big people that can't pass the ball as efficiently as our big men. Davis that time had D'Alembert underneath, but he threw a rocket of a bounce pass. Big people aren't accustomed to having to make plays for other big people or make passes.
The first two Spurs were there. Jackson was not there when the whistle blew.
Did you hear that?
Spurs go in.
He's telling him why Mark Jackson is not allowed to come in.
All right. I'm wrong and you're right. That's what we want to do right here.
Jim O'Brien is being told exactly.
He said they're lying.
Did I hear a ref say, I'm wrong, you're right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's make sure we got that on tape. Here's Tim. And the jump hook.
He just happened his way underneath. And that's what you'd expect with the 76ers team. They just don't have the size or strength to handle Tim Duncan.
Well, he had his season best 34 in Philly. He's got 16 so far here in the first half. Iverson blocked by Duncan. Drops it off for Ginobili. Robert Horry back to Manu. Had an idea to whip it into Duncan instead. Brings it out on the wing. Tim against D'Alembert. And again, how do you want it?
Crash test dummy. Just getting used and abused out there. Tim Duncan having his way, putting people in the torture chamber, taking them outside, running the floor, getting offensive rebounds for dunks. Right now, D'Alembert has, if he had 4 hands, they'd all be full. Here, let me get you off the ground. Check your shorts there. Did you leave something? Let me undress you here along the baseline. You can have your clothes back after the game.
Yeah, while you're reaching down to pick up your socks, I think I'll do this. Kyle Korver can't hit the long two. Bruce Bowen wants in the rebounding end. Tony Parker back out to Horry. Looking to Duncan, who's got 18 points. Instead to Ginobili. Manu kicks to Bowen. Drops it off. The big foul! And one!
I tell you what, the best part of that play was looking at the 76ers body language after that play. They were walking around like they all took a punch from Mike Tyson.
Well, and I thought Coach Pop made a comment about, hey, don't make too much of Avery Johnson. He's going to be a heck of a coach.
Right.
But it's one night. He's going to learn. He's going to be like everybody else. And some
Exactly.
people nationally have been critical of how could Don Nelson just abandon his team and all this other business. What a bunch of garbage.
That was ridiculous.
Give a little credit to the team that won the game.
Relax a second, exactly. You could have had Adolph Rupp, James Naismith, and John Wooden on that sideline, and the Mavericks were still going to lose by 20 points.
Spurs here leading it by 17. Tim Duncan, the crew putting on a show. Jackson finally counters. Duncan with 21 of the Spurs' 51. Ginobili to Horry. Felt the double team. Bowen. Parker. Now Horry.
Somebody's got to shoot it here.
Manu says, I will, and why not? And he got fouled. Count that one.
Now they're just running roughshod over this 76ers team. They're passing the ball wherever they want. They're running whatever they want. Even if they overpass the basketball like they did this last possession, they still come away with a possible 3-point play. Whenever Philadelphia tries, it just doesn't work.
Korver picking up his third foul. He'll come out as Salmons comes in. Let's go to Brian with an update in an injury.
Bill Corliss Williamson, the Sixers undermanned to begin this game, but he has a slight sprain of his left MCL. Will not return this half, unlikely to return for the rest of the game, although he is testing it in the back, running up and down, trying to figure out if he has enough strength to return in this game. It'll have to be a second half situation for Corliss Williamson.
Thanks, Brian. Tough break. Utah was here Saturday. Kirilenko, we find out, is going to be out around a month with his knee injury. Now Williamson gets hurt. Jackson can't complete the putback, and the loose one comes off to the Spurs, and a foul is called against Philadelphia. Robert with a foul. Our Geico direct quote tonight comes from the head coach of the Spurs. We're talking about Avery and his comment. I think it's unfair to act like he's going to be Red Auerbach. He's going to be one heck of a coach. I don't know what people expected. It was certainly a big deal in Dallas, and I think it's a very generous move by Don Nelson to say, hey, if this guy is going to be a head coach and he's going to be our head coach, then he needs to be groomed properly. And he allowed him to do that in the exhibition game, but he said regular game's different. But it's fair to suggest things to him.
Yeah, and to suggest that, Avery was the reason, or Nelly's abandoning his team. Avery Johnson is a primary reason that Dallas Mavericks team has made a tremendous jump defensively this year. I had a chance to talk with Avery before the game last night, and now he's trying to show those guys the way they're supposed to play defense for 48 minutes. And you can't tell me that he's not some way, shape, or form responsible for the way that team has gotten it together, at least better on the defensive end.
Yeah, noticeable better than they were. 55-36 Spurs. 1:05 to go here in the first half. Salmons kicks it off, and now out to Iverson with one on the shot clock. Had to fire this one. Iverson, who had 8 early, has been contained. He's got 10 for the night.
See, the difference is you watch the basketball move on the Spurs end. You watch what happens with the 76ers. They look like they're throwing a 15-pound medicine ball around.
Brent Berry when the shot won't go. Rebound comes off. Spurs been on a 19-5 run over 8 minutes of this period, and now 36 seconds to go. 17 in the shot clock. Iverson stripped of it, and it'll be Spurs basketball. Beno Udrih going against the perennial all-star.
And he's done this several times tonight. When Allen Iverson puts that ball in front of him, look at those quick hands. Look at how the karate kick. Beno he has those hands like Manu Ginobili. They're just going to get a piece of everything.
Bowen can't hit the long-range jumper. Rebound comes off to Jackson. The 76ers led by 7 at one point, 23-16. We're tied. And all Spurs. Iverson shot won't go. Duncan.
Third quarter, especially on the defensive end. Want to try to run the break a little more and pound the middle like they've done in the first half. By the way, Corliss Williamson will not return. That is a sprain of the left MCL. He will not return to this game, guys.
Makes it all the tougher for the 76ers in their attempted comeback, but they do get a steal to start things. Korver, the intended receiver, it's intercepted by Bowen to Parker. Spurs 2-on-2. Tony back to Ginobili. Manu stripped of it, got it right back.
You see Mark Jackson try to play point guard in the middle of the floor?
Is that what that was?
He forgot that he's not the Mark Jackson of the New York Knicks. That shows you, big people get that ball in the open court, and most of the time, it's going to be a turnover.
Ginobili driving to the basket and is fouled on the play by Iguodala. His third.
Look at Manu. Even though he's going to the floor, he's still trying to get that shot up because he has an opportunity to the free throw line. He hears that whistle and the ball's going up.
Iguodala frustrated, came in averaging 8 points, 6 rebounds, and a career best 15 against Orlando. Jim O'Brien's still thinking about this pass here.
You watch, first off, if you're Iguodala, you don't throw a big man the ball in the open court. He tries a no look, and Bruce Bowen says, that's just not good enough, big man. Go back to ball handling school.
So the 76ers go to work defensively after they decide not to give Manu the free throw. He misses the 3, and the rebound comes off to Davis. Here is Iverson. Drops it off. Jackson blocked by Duncan. Tim's 5th block shot of the night.
That ball didn't have a shot at going in. Tim Duncan's too long and too athletic. Mark Jackson isn't the Mark Jackson of old where he can get off the ground a little bit.
Tim 4th in the league in block shots. Parker. And Tony hits the 3. And that is significant because it is his 5th of the year. 4 of 30 coming in. Even though he shot well in other areas and he's played very well, but it's just good to see him hit a 3 again.
Absolutely. We had all day to shoot it. It was a great pass by Tim Duncan.
Jackson with a miss, Bowen with a rebound. Spurs' biggest lead. 58-36, 22-point lead. Ginobili to Rasho Nesterovic, back to Bowen, now to Duncan. And the jump hook.
Oh, boy. I mean, it looks like dummy offense. And what I mean by dummy offense is when you come in for shoot-around, coach will split up the first and second team. The first team goes into their floor, and you practice your plays. You pass the ball around, you go to your spots. And right now, the 76ers aren't impeding the Spurs' progress whatsoever. They're running whatever play they want. They're passing the ball wherever they want. It's like they're a shoot-around.
And the steal by Parker. Iverson anticipated his pass to Bowen, instead to Rasho. No reset, 16 on the shot clock. Spurs winning that second quarter, 32-11. Remember last night, 38 points in the fourth quarter of the win against Dallas. Spurs turn it over here. Tony Minor not able to connect. Here's the steal a moment ago.
Tony Parker back here just hanging out. Kyle Korver trying to make too much happen. And there you see another big man, Josh Davis, trying to make a pass that just gets eaten alive.
Iverson with a miss. Duncan brings it down to Parker. Running it. Manu Ginobili! Manu Ginobili.
Kyle Korver thought he was going to actually block that dunk. He went up with some purpose.
Ginobili going for the steal. Jackson with a turnaround for the first score of the Philly effort for the second half. So they went 3 minutes without a bucket. 62-38. Parker and Tony, when he gets in that rhythm, comes off and hits a long 2.
How much has he improved his game over the years? When he was a rookie, he came off that screen and he had a little set shot. Now he's coming off there, it's a jump shot, and if he continues to improve his game with that quickness, it's going to be scary.
Jackson, nice feed from Korver, and Jackson gets the bucket, 64-40.
I see Mark Jackson gets scoring there, but when he's up there pump faking Tim Duncan trying to get creative with these shots, that's not going to happen. But when he's wide open, he can knock down the 6'8" footer.
And here's Parker again with an and one. Got poked in the face though. Tony now with 9 points. Jackson on that last bucket with 14 on the night.
Tony Parker just blowing right past Allen Iverson, then gets around Davis as well. Using that quickness and new-found strength as well. Added a little strength this summer. He's able to get in the paint and finish.
If he took a shot to the nose, or kind of giving a look like he feels like that nose is the back of his head.
I know that when you get a free throw, you have to block the paint out. You see guys, they get up, they limp, they get to the free throw line. If they make it, they run down the floor. If they miss it, they start limping again.
Yeah. Or if you've been called for a charge, coach, come get me, I'm hurt.
Right.
Tony, none of that business. And Tony, just like that, in double figures with it 67-40. And Parker with 8 quick points here in the third quarter. Green with Bowen hounding him. 10 on the shot clock. Iguodala gives to Iverson. Rasho comes to help. Duncan comes to block. Out of bounds. Sixer basketball.
Boy, was Allen Iverson trying to invent a shot there. He's trying to beat Tony, Rasho, and then finally Tim. But there's just too many arms in there. And sometimes when your drive goes left into the woods, you got to pitch it back out.
Iguodala with an air ball, and he'll call it a pass, but it didn't go anyway as the attempt by Thomas wouldn't fall, and the Spurs quickly bring it. Parker splits a couple defenders, whips it to Bowen. 3. Rasho tips it. Manu right down to Parker. 13-4 start to the third quarter, and their largest lead of 29. Brian Skinner out of Baylor gets the jumper to go for his first bucket. Brian in his 7th year out of the league, and he's 2.9 average, 3.5 rebounds. Milwaukee last year has also been with the Clippers and had an earlier stay with Philadelphia. Spurs turn it over here. Iverson bringing it back.
I'm sure Coach O'Brien is searching for any kind of combination that would give him something.
Iverson hits the falling down jumper. He has earned his points tonight, though. Numerous shots blocked, and Iverson with 10 points. 4 of 14 from the floor, 2 rebounds, just 2 assists.
And he hasn't even seen Bruce Bowen yet. It's all been Tony Parker and Beno Uchi that have had the job of guarding him.
Foul called underneath. It's on Green, his first. Spurs ball on the side, 14 on the clock. Ginobili, Parker tried to zip one back in and return the favor. And they turn it over.
Can't start getting too fancy here. You've got to continue to play the way you played earlier in this ball game, and you got to remember what got you the lead. You got to still continue to take care of the basketball and make sharp, smart passes.
Green dishes it back out, and the jumper won't go. Thomas with a miss. Ginobili brings it up for San Antonio. Bruce Bowen. Back to Rasho. And now Parker. And Tony dials it again. And the Spurs 71-44. And Parker continues to light them up in the quarter. 14 for the game. And the dish off. And the double block. Duncan and Rasho. And it's a jump ball.
And that's what's so frustrating when you're on the opposing team. You get the ball underneath. There's a terrific penetration and pitch. And normally guys can finish out if they're going to get somebody else, but you have to. You have to pump fake Rasho Nesterovic. Otherwise, he's going to can that shot. And then you get him off the ground, and there's Tim Duncan who's helping Rasho out. Excellent defense by the San Antonio Spurs. Just unbelievable how these guys help each other out every single night.
Tim on the Duncan with that double block.
Exactly.
The jump ball comes off to the Spurs. 5:32 remaining. 71-44 in the third. Parker to Rasho. Rebound, Iverson. Sixers coming in after the Saturday loss at Orlando. Iverson hits the jumper here, 71-46. They fell 105-99. They had won 2 of 3. In fact, they got 2 of 2 since the Spurs saw them last. The Spurs beat them 88-80 in Philly about 2 weeks ago. Break called here on the foul. Simon Malls and the Spurs are teaming up this holiday season. Subscribe to Spurs E-News to be automatically entered in a drawing to win all sorts of great Spurs prizes, courtesy of Simon Malls and the Spurs. Grand prize, $1,000 Simon Spurs gift card just in time for the holiday shopping season. To sign up, it's easy. Go to Spurs.com, click on the E-News icon, and enter today. Ginobili swirls out on the first free throw attempt. Manu had 17 points in the first meeting with the Sixers, along with 4 rebounds and 9 assists. Remember, Tony, that was the game he was 0 of 2 from the floor. And 0 of 2 from the line, I think.
But the Spurs still managed to win that game behind 34 from Timmy.
And it's been Timmy again tonight, along with the rest of the cast. The bench got him going early in this one.
I tell you what, this bench has they've been so terrific for this team.
Duncan with a rebound off the Thomas miss. Spurs bring it quickly with Parker. Trying to get it back to Tim, does after the deflection from Iverson. Kicks to Bowen. 9 on the shot clock. Bruce in trouble. Baseline to Malik. Sets up Manu for 3. Skinner with a rebound.
They're just getting whatever they want, Bill, because they continue to move the basketball.
Green with a miss. Duncan may have had something to do with it, and a foul is called here.
And Tim can smell those blocks. He has 6 tonight. If the 76ers managed to make this game competitive, Tim could come away with a triple-double.
And have that possibility. Don't miss the 6th annual Bowling for Dollars Charity Bowl on Sunday, January 16th. Since the first annual Bowl-a-thon, the Tim Duncan Foundation has raised over $550,000 for breast and prostate cancer detection, prevention, and treatment. For more info, write to foundation@slamduncan.com. We hope you get involved. Malik Rose looks for Tim, nothing there to Bowen. 9 on the shot clock. And we've got a foul against Philadelphia. Oh, no, I beg your pardon. It's going to be against the...
Well, Tim trying to work here, and I don't know what
Thomas
they called there.
for the foul. No, what?
Looked like good defense to me. Looked like both guys were just jockeying for position.
So anyway, Tim goes to the free throw line. It's a chance to add to his total. 10 of 12 from the floor. His first miss at the free throw line tonight. He's 3 of 4 there. 23 points and 12 rebounds. Yet another double-double. Leading the league. 14 double-doubles in 16 games this year.
And 6 blocks to go along with it.
His blocks have been up lately as well.
Both he and Rasim Nesterovic are all over the paint area.
Iverson starting to get it to go now. 73-48. That was a 2.
The Spurs have gotten a little lackadaisical with Allen Iverson. They're allowing him to get wide open, coming off some screens. That time they're trying to push him toward the baseline, toward the help defense. But you got to continue to guard him. You can't just let him get a wide open look at it.
Parker's pass deflected out of bounds with 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Massenberg will come in for Duncan.
Just when you open the door, he just bolts and he's gone, running out the front door. That's exactly what happened with the basketball when you have a big man who tries to run the break.
And how did the Spurs break start? With Tim Duncan getting rid of it right away to his point guard.
It always makes you nervous if your big man thinks that he wants to dribble the ball in the open court, because you know that he's headed for disaster.
Spurs turn it over here, 10th time, and then time called by the official after the inbounds. Quite sure, maybe the shot clock.
They started the shot clock, before Allen Iverson even touched the ball.
Yeah, they were letting the ball roll in before he grabbed it.
Why is he even letting the ball roll in? It's not like you're trying to save precious seconds right now. You're down by 25.
Thomas with it now for the 76ers. Iguodala against Manu Ginobili. And the charge is called. Well, we see it about once a game from Manu, don't we? Just simply moving the feet.
He moves his feet, but Iguodala gives up on his drive right there. He's got to try to beat Manu first. Instead, he takes one dribble and turns his back right away. He doesn't know what he wants to do with the basketball. Manu Ginobili is too good of a defender.
Iguodala picks up his 4th personal foul. We have 2:56 to go in the 3rd quarter. Tony Parker with it, with Malik Rose along with Bowen, Massenberg, and Devin Brown. Devin with the ball now to Tony, and off his hand out of bounds. So the Spurs got off that 14-4 roll and got up by 29. It's been a little sloppy since then.
Well, yeah, they've got to continue to play. Can't get complacent here. It's about your performance. See if you can put this lead from 25 to 35.
And the shot is good by Skinner. Well, on the other part, Sean, I would imagine when this is a stretch now, starting with last night, it's a back-to-back, 5 games, 7 days. Right. They've got back-to-backs with Friday here with Detroit and then Milwaukee Saturday. So you want to rest your players as much as you can.
Exactly. And I suspect the only reason Tony Parker's in the game right now is because he hit some shots and he had some rhythm going. Otherwise, you'd see Bano in the game already. See, Tim Duncan's already on the bench. He may not come back.
Thomas hits the jumper, 73-52. Thomas out of the University of Mexico, averaging 6 points, nearly 6 rebounds a game. Bowen on the drive. His pass or shot is deflected and taken away. Iverson sets up Iguodala and throws it right out of bounds.
I know Iguodala has some athletic ability, but I don't know of a whole lot of players that could have caught that alley-oop pass. I mean, that was a rocket. That's what I mean when you talk about getting your number one scorer and trying to make him into a point guard. Whole different situation.
Parker weaves his way to the bucket, dishes back out to Brown. Now Tony for the three. And the rebound to Skinner. Last 6 in the game have gone to the Sixers. Green cannot make it 8 straight, at least in this possession, and Malik Rose with the rebound.
Spurs need to finish out this third quarter in style. They do that, you'll see Britt Barry, you'll see Bano come off the bench to start the fourth, and the reserves will get quality playing time in the fourth quarter. But the guys on the floor right now need to take care of business.
Y'all keep playing.
And that's what you hear him saying. Tony Massenberg out there, keep playing. We can't, we're up by 25. We can't all of a sudden decide that we're just going to turn it off.
And Devin Brown hits the jumper. Must have heard you. 75-52. Remember, Devin had a dozen in that first half. And now with 14 on the night. Devin Brown, 3 straight games in double figures. 14 against Utah, 16 against Dallas, and 14 here. Leading the break to Parker. Tony looking to dish, and Bowen. Knocked away. Iverson brings it with 36 seconds to go. Bowen chases down the rebound, and the Spurs will take the final. Well, there's about 6 seconds differential.
Well, if you want to see what Summer League basketball looks like, just look at the last 3 possessions. That about sums it up. Sloppy on both sides.
Parker, they hedge on him. Dishes to Rose. 8 on the shot clock, and Bowen just misses. And a foul called underneath.
Loose ball foul, 34, Tony
Massenberg with the loose ball foul. That is Tony's third. Bano Udrih comes in for Tony Parker. Parker, red hot to start the quarter. And 12 points in the third quarter, 14 overall for Tony. And Duncan gets 17 in the second. Parker took control in the third.
Spurs falling into a little bit of a zone here.
Last shot laid up, won't go. Nice attempt. Bill and Sean Elliott, Brian Anderson with you here on FSM. The Spurs start the fourth quarter with a 75-52 lead. They were even at 25 after 1. A 30-11 second quarter gave the big lead. And the Sixers make a little... Still trailed by 4 in the quarter of the third. And now we go to the fourth quarter. And Spurs bring it up. Count that last shot on the goaltend. It's 75-54.
Yeah, easy goaltend to call there. Salmons made a good move. Tony Massenberg caught it after it came off the glass.
Redberry, Udrih, Massenberg, as well as Devin Brown with a shot here. And hits it. The 3 from Devin Brown.
There's that combination again, Brown and Udrih. And they know who had the hot hand. They knew who had the hot hand there in the second quarter. It was Devin Brown. Did a fantastic job rallying the Spurs club. And here he is again in the fourth.
Deflection, Rose back to Devin. And he'll go to the line. Well, we had that spectacular dunk that he had the other night against Utah. And this would have been a spectacular and one if somehow he'd have flipped it in.
Just not quite enough English on it. But you see, he creates that steal because he comes up with the deflection. And then he tries to get old school fancy on you. It's not enough to get it up there off the glass. But a tremendous effort nonetheless.
Kyle Korver with his 5th foul of the night. And Devin Brown continues to strike with a hot hand as Brown at the free throw line to make it 79-54. And Devin with 18 points and make it 19. So Brown again besting his career, or matching his career high. That's his season high. Remember, his career high was 19 last year against Utah. He's even that here tonight.
Pretty safe to say that he'll break his career high tonight. I mean, he's going to be out here for the entire fourth quarter.
Jackson making it 80-56. He leads the Sixers with 16. Iverson's got 14. Bano Udrih with it now here for San Antonio. Kicks it off to Barry. Malik Rose pulls up for the deuce.
And the bench is just starting to heat up. You have Devin Brown with a 3-ball last time. Malik Rose getting in the act. And you have tremendous passers out there in Barry and Udrih.
Well, and There's the bench production tonight, and when the game was in jeopardy early on, it was the bench that gave the Spurs the start. They were down 7, 21-14, and the bench brought them right back. Malik just missed him with this one.
That was a funky-looking shot he put up there. It looked like he was out of rhythm a little bit.
Malik on away, knocked it away from Jackson once. Now gets it back with 9 on the shot clock. The miss and the rebound. Dallenberg.
It shows you that athletic ability. He just needs to stay in the paint.
Korver then hits a 3 with Devin Brown flying across the face.
One of the best times you get up a three-point ball is after an offensive rebound. Samuel Dallenberg comes down with the offensive rebound, gives it right back to Kyle Korver.
Barry with the miss, and here come the Sixers again with an 82-59.
And that shot there by Brent Barry, he's just trying to get himself into the ball game. He's hardly touched the basketball tonight.
And the foul is called. Our Jack in the Box trivia tonight concerns the 76ers and Allen Iverson, 4th on the Sixers career scoring list. Who are the top 3? We were discussing this one over dinner this evening, Podna, so go ahead and throw some names out there.
Oh, Julius Erving.
There you go. You got one. Not too fast. Let those at home play along too, right?
I'm going to say Mo Cheeks.
No, Dr. J is the easiest of the 3. And
was Moses there long enough?
No.
Scored a lot of points. Wilt Chamberlain.
Not Wilt Chamberlain. I thought as well. I thought Charles Barkley. I thought maybe Billy Cunningham.
That's what I was thinking.
Those guys are also not.
Andrew Toney.
Here's a good one, but wrong. Hey, it's not like I knew. I just showed up in time to find out the answers so I can pimp you. Think old school. You were talking old school. But think real old school. Shot good by Beto Udrih. And it's now 84-61. Spurs by 23.
Dolph Shays.
Oh, like that.
I cheated.
Okay.
Somebody gave me the answer.
You said that with too much. You said it was his first name Dolph? Timeout is called.
Debut of the video and everything like that. So, but what's important right now is being home for a week and being able to come out and see the Spurs play.
I know your song, your single "New Year's Day" is out. How's the CD doing overall? You been pleased with the performance?
It's been great. It's been awesome. And yeah, I think your cameraman left on you. No, it's been totally great. And we're fixing to go to the Northeast for 2.5 weeks, and it's we're on a gravy train with biscuit wheels.
Your wife's not a bad musician either, Emily.
All right.
What's news with the Dixie Chicks?
We're extending our families at the moment. We're all having babies and taking time off, but we're actually writing and about to go to the studio right now.
You know, we say in the golf business, you marrying Emily, you overclubbed.
Yeah, I hit it way past the green.
I said.
Sean Elliott's working on a mean harmonica if you have a need for that on your next CD. Or maybe the Dixie Chicks might have a need for a harmonica.
I will, I'll take Sean. I'll pick Sean up. I know there's a lot of people that are that don't think he still has the stuff right now. But I think with the harmonica, I think he might be able to pull it off.
Well, Bill Land, you know Sean also plays a pretty mean saw. He plays the saw really well. Emily and Charlie Robinson and Charlie's new CD out. Pick it up. It's really good. I'm a big fan of his, and I can highly recommend it, Bill.
All-Star balloting has started. You can make a difference. Send your 5 Spurs nominees to Denver for the 05 game. A chance to vote for Tim, Tony, Brent, Rasho, and Manu once a day, every day. Do it online at Spurs.com. All-Star voting is January 23rd, so vote today. Still amazed, Sean, that some people nationally still do not recognize the Spurs for the excellence and even the title 2 years ago and the way they've gotten off to the start this year.
I've always contended that if you had taken these guys, if you put them in yellow jerseys, they played in L.A., everybody would talk about how exceptional these players are. Tony Parker could be a world beater. Manu Ginobili might own the free world. And Tim Duncan would be the biggest star you've ever seen. But in a small market, you tend to get overlooked. Not 10, you do get overlooked.
Devin Brown, 4 of 8 on threes tonight, with 22 points for career high. Robert Horry with Mike Wilkes, now to Rasho, and knocked away by D'Alembert. He saves it, and it comes off to the Sixers. And a foul is called. Well, we showed you earlier Boston, or Philly in their position in the Atlantic. How about your Southwest leader, San Antonio, thanks to the win at Dallas last night, 2.5 up on the Mavs. Boy, Houston has struggled. I thought they would be a little bit better.
They talked about bringing in Tracy McGrady with Yao Ming, and so far that combination hasn't lived up to expectations. They're still trying to learn how to play together. And meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs here with one true superstar and a lot of guys who have the potential to be stars, they're playing excellent team basketball, and they're running away from the field.
Iguodala with the free throws and makes it 91-70. The Spurs, their best November in team history with the 12-3 mark as we move here into December. Previous best was with 10 wins back in David Robinson's rookie year. And Wilkes on the drive, kicks it off to Barry, and he misses.
See, that was a rush shot there. It wasn't like he had time to set up. He caught that ball. It was already almost above his head when he caught it and he let it go.
Green can't hit. Rebound knocked out. And a foul call coming over the back. It'll go the other way to the Spurs with a foul on Philly. Hey, what's ahead for the Spurs? Well, plenty. Friday, the defending champs come to town, Detroit. And guess who's back?
Big Ben.
Yes, Ben Wallace. We'll have it for you in FSN. Then Saturday, the back-to-back at Milwaukee on San Antonio's WB, a 7:30 game, and then Chicago, 7:30 on Monday night.
Be sure to pack your warm clothes, Bill, because December in Milwaukee is not fun.
We aren't going to go party on Lake Michigan?
I don't think so. Unless I have like a polar bear underwear.
We will be freezing, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Leave me out of it. I'll be in the hotel trying to start a fire, and they won't even have a fireplace.
Horry with the bucket, and now Nesterovic with a rebound, and the Spurs bring it back with Wilkes to Devin Brown, going hard to the basket.
Devin, if he gets going here late, he could have 30. He's having an awfully good game.
24, and here's the break. Wilkes, and they wrestle him down with Kenny Thomas. And I'm sorry, I know the Sixers aren't having as much fun as we are enjoying this, but it's 3:31 to go. It's 96-70. Leave him alone. You don't like it, get back.
Exactly. And here's Devin Brown. Here, come try to get this ball as I lay it off the glass, showing you tremendous grace and athletic ability. Devin Brown. He's been going to work all night.
Gatorade player of the game, Devin Brown.
Mike Wilkes got corralled there by Kenny Thomas, but Kenny Thomas didn't have a shot. Mike Wilkes, it's like a little shutterbug, just quit.
Robert Horry warming up now from the outside. The Spurs 99-70. Their season-high scoring total was just Saturday night when they put 109 on Utah. Here's another steal. Wilkes to Barry. Oh, Mara! How about that with a little English? Brett Barry. That's why you don't leave any game early.
I hear you. And it's turned into happy hour for the Spurs.
Green with a miss. Horry with a rebound. Why not? The three just missing. Robert Horry hitting 2 of 3 from outside. Got 7. Devin Brown with a career-high 24. The big individual scoring story tonight. Wilkes with a steal. Trying to get the handle against Green. He takes it to the hole, and no foul called. It'll be Spurs ball.
We talked about it being happy hour, and you see right down there, 6
looking for their second victory of the year. That's in the fourth quarter of play. And we go back now to San Antonio.
By Sonic, it's not just good, Sonic good. And by Captain Morgan Original Spice Rum, drink responsibly. Captain's orders. Well, the Spurs, in this now 5-game winning streak, they outscored Dallas by 14, Denver by 14, Utah by 23, Dallas by 18, and currently it's 31 against Philadelphia as Wilkes picks up another loose one.
Yeah, this is officially a blowout. And you thought that Philadelphia might have a shot to do something here in the fourth quarter, and the Spurs have just continued to pour it on them.
They got swept by the Sixers last year. They will return the favor this season. And Morey drops low to Massenberg, and he is fouled with 4 on the shot clock, 1:44 in the game. And the assist total, Sean, Spurs with 27 to the Sixers 10.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, and there's passes that lead to the assists that are great passes as well. And you look at this team on the floor right now, Tony Massenberg may not be a great passer, but everybody else on the floor can get the ball out of their hands. And when you have, also the starters, the starting 5, everybody in the starting 5 can pass the ball, even Rasha Masterovic. So, I mean, it's just across the board. They can beat you in so many ways.
The Spurs with 27 assists and the Sixers with 27 field goals. Here's an idea. Thomas with a miss. Rebound. Samuel Dellenberg kicks it back out. Salmons. He can't hit, and Massenberg brings it down. And the Spurs defense has got Philly shooting 34.6%. The Spurs are number 1 in the league in fewest points allowed at 86. And in the opponent field goal percentage is 41.3, and it'll go down a little notch here tonight. Robert Horry can't hit the 3. Rebound, Horry. And we're down to 1 minute remaining.
There's everything going the Spurs' way. That time, the 76ers had to beat on the ball. Spurs still managed to come down with the offensive board.
Barry back to Horry. Inside, Massenberg tipped away. Comes off to Green. Wilkes and Crew, and Massenberg comes up with a loose one.
And when you see these guys playing so well together, you almost want to watch them for another quarter. I want to see some more great passes.
You think Philly will hang around?
I don't think they're going to agree to that.
Extra quarter. Massenberg got it.
That's Tony's job right there. He's going to get offensive rebounds. He's going to muscle you underneath. He's going to be the enforcer.
And Massenberg with 5 points, 4 rebounds in his reserve role tonight, and a banker to Green for Philadelphia. 105-72. Amazing. The Spurs by 33. And they hold Philadelphia to 72 in a blowout. A lot of heroes. Devin Brown among them with a career high 24. Tim Duncan yet another.